Boom. Let's go. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Sunday. So, welcome into another episode of the Sunday Conversation. I'm your host, Bobby Neishman. Appreciate you guys all being here this morning. Lots of work to do. Got to get after it on Sunday. You guys know by now. This is episode 27 of the Sunday Conversation by now. Should be no secret what we're going to do Sunday morning. We're going to get to work. But before I get into that, just want to plug the Taylor's Code community, guys. If you guys have not already seen that, if you have not, oh, you like the shirt? This shirt's straight from Moody Air Force Base. Shout out to my grandpa. Air Force veteran, he always gets the fire stuff. So, if you guys have not already seen the community, the Taylor's Code, this is the last 2 weeks to get in before the prices are going to jump from $25 to $50 on March 1st. We're transitioning off of the school community, and we're going to be transferring to our Discord platform, where it's going to be really an all-inclusive platform, much better for communication, better technology for charts and crypto graphing, AI bots that are going to pull in so much more information that you guys could use to get in early, to get out quicker, different things like that. Just more channels where I could put out way more e-commerce information for you guys, and you guys could jump in it and see it immediately and implement it way better from different aspects of watching videos, taking notes, looking at the notes I'm putting in there. So it's just going to be an all-around better platform for everything, because the way the school platform's kind of set up now really doesn't do what we kind of need it to do in terms of just sharing information and chatting, which is the most important when you're in a community. Definitely is the chatting aspect, talking to other people, asking questions. The school platform's good. It's more of like a Facebook wall though, and so yeah, we're making some upgrades. We're gonna have that rolled out officially on March 1st. But if you guys want to get in early, get in at that $25 per month price, which is a steal, is a no-brainer. Go to the link in my description, check that out, and you guys could get in early and still get in at a cheaper price. So it's a no-brainer. Other than that, I'm going to be talking about the landscape of the e-commerce world today. Oh, dropped my headphones. The e-commerce landscape today, and what I'm kind of seeing and where I think things are going. And it's been kind of weird because a lot of the stuff that I've seen a year ago about e-commerce, early 2024, I feel like people aren't talking about anymore in 2025. I don't know if this was because, we had a big crypto bull run in the middle of last year starting, and, different things popped off with crypto. So a lot of people took their assets they had in e-commerce, put it into crypto, and really wanted to learn that more. But what I'm seeing right now, and we'll talk about this, is a major void in online e-commerce space. Like the people that used to be in the community, people that used to talk about it online, they're just nowhere to be found anymore. Like I don't see anybody posting tips online, making videos online as much as they used to. Because when I first got into this a couple years ago, the space was flooded with people, and it was even kind of hard to get into that niche of creating content and putting stuff out online because there were so many people doing it. And now I'm just not seeing it anymore, which is kind of weird to me because the trajectory of e-commerce is it's going up every single day, every single week. So you would think more people would be trying to get involved, but I haven't seen it. It's actually the opposite from what I've seen. It's the other way. There's less and less people getting involved in it. So I don't know. That's just kind of some of the stuff I want to talk about today because it's kind of been weird. Hello, avocado. So I think that's where it's a good place to start in the landscape of the e-commerce world. And I wanted to make this live stream interactive with e-commerce. So any questions that do come up, you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat. This is meant to be a conversation. Questions. Totally new. Can you teach me some basics? Well, that's why we have the community, Avocado, the Frog. If you do want to learn some of the basics. I have lots of basics put up on my YouTube channel. So if you go to my YouTube, where this is live streaming right now, I know this is live streaming on Twitch. I see you're watching on Twitch. So go to my YouTube. It's the same as my Twitch. You could check out some of the free videos that I have there on some of the basic stuff. Once you get more advanced, that's when we'll talk one-on-one and on some of the more advanced topics. So go check that out. But honestly, so like what I was thinking about when I was starting the stream is, I obviously want this to be interactive, people chatting. Avocado the Frog, appreciate you jumping in. I see you're a new viewer. Make sure to like and subscribe the video wherever you're watching this at. But when I first started YouTube and when I first started making videos, I did Coffee Chats AM. And if you guys have been around for a while, there it is, Avocado the Frog, appreciate it. When I first started YouTube, I never made any videos. I didn't know the first thing about editing, didn't know the first thing about recording myself, talking to the camera. It was all kind of a learning curve. And what I did was, this was back in last August, like in the middle of the summer, before we started the Taylor's Code, before we started the Gentleman's Code podcast, before I started the Sunday Conversations, I started a little show called Coffee Chats AM, where I would sit down with my coffee in the morning and I would just go through some of the current events for that day and talk through them. And that's kind of why I want to bring back a little bit. And I mean, we do. Me and Priamo, we're drinking coffee, espressos during the Gentleman's Code, and I'm always having a cup of coffee on here. But the Coffee Chats AM, I feel like was such a unique little episode, a little program that I did. So I'm gonna keep that rolling. So Coffee Chats AM collabed with the Sunday Conversation. All right, so the e-commerce landscape, let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about it, ask some questions if you guys have it, and let me know if you think my analysis of what the market is looking like is correct or if it's wrong. If you're somebody who's involved in it, let me know. But I think that what I've seen over the past year, I would say the past year because a lot of different things have been happening. And like I said, I think a lot of it has to do with the crypto hype. A lot of people jumping on it that maybe were in e-commerce. They did stuff in e-commerce and they made money, and maybe they're jumping over to crypto and taking advantage of that opportunity, which you should. You absolutely should put some of your money there, learn that skill. So that I don't fault people for that. But where I think it's leaving a void for some people in some niches that maybe they were doing pretty well in e-commerce and they let it go, they let it fall through their fingers, and now that they're onto other things, there's these voids opening up. And one of them I think is definitely education. So I think I don't see as many e-commerce guru teachers, one-on-one mentors teaching this stuff anymore, which is a great opportunity for me. I feel like the more content I put out, the more I'm reaching out to people. That's just better for me because I don't see as many people doing it anymore. And I think that it's opening up lots of different opportunities, from clothing and just drop shipping, Amazon FBA, everything that goes with e-commerce. There's voids opening up. So that's just one of the first analysis that I have, that I've seen, is not as many people in the space, which is great for anybody who is trying to get into the space, because now the competition is weakening. It may not actually be weakening. It may just be maybe there's less content creators out there. Maybe they're still doing the stores. But from what I'm seeing, I don't see as many people pushing the stores and doing that. So I think it's a great opportunity for anybody who's trying to get involved. And with that, I think that if you're new to this, so like Avocado the Frog, you were saying you don't know anything about the topic. You want to learn some basics. So here's some, not really basic strategies or anything, but some of the things that I think about when starting a store. A lot of people, when they think about e-commerce, they don't know where to get started. And maybe you have a community of people that you talk to or you work with. You said you did crypto mining for a few years ago. I quit and you lost so much money. I'm sorry to hear that. But here's the thing. If you're in a community, there's so many different things you could do from a digital product standpoint. So maybe your community, you guys have a group chat. Maybe you want to offer people access to that group chat. Well, all you need is a simple landing page hooked up to a Stripe account or hooked up to a PayPal account where you charge people entry to the page. Now that's a digital product. You're getting people to pay you to be access to the group and to your community. That is an example of an online digital product. And that's some of the things I feel like goes over people's heads when you say e-commerce. They think the traditional way, right? Like maybe you've seen influencers in the past have boxes stacked up to the ceiling in their apartments, in their bedrooms, and they were manually printing labels on them and then shipping them out the door. The times of doing that have really passed because one, technology has progressed where now suppliers will hold most of the inventory for you. They'll label it, they'll ship it for you. And with drop shipping, you don't even need to hold inventory, because if you find a supplier with the product you like, they'll hold it in their warehouse. Once the customer purchases it, it's out the door and it's to the customer's house. And there's different things you could do if you're just getting started. So I think the most important thing, and I preach on this all the time, and if you're new to the channel, you could go back and watch my older videos, you'll see that the most important thing that I preach is the product research. So what is it that you're actually selling? Is it good enough? Did you test it? And you could test it by running different ads and getting different traffic to it. But I also think that with that, there's so many options these days. There's so many different ways you could go from a digital product standpoint, physical product to print on demand products. There's just so many options that maybe it gets a little confusing for some new people that want to get involved in. And that's kind of the barriers that I want to break down. And I put a lengthy post in the Taylor's Code Discord yesterday breaking down the different options, the four main options when just getting started. So that's just traditional drop shipping, digital products, print on demand, stuff like that, and breaking it out on different points and how to be successful and different tools to use to get started. Properly Paid said, agreed. Right now is the time to build a store because others are distracted. Absolutely. I just haven't seen as much hype around the e-commerce community as I did 2 years ago, which makes sense. A lot of the people that got involved with it are moving on to different things, or they've done successful stuff, and now maybe their store's just running for them and they don't have to do as much in front of the camera or teaching or whatever. But I definitely think the supply to demand of e-commerce is coming to a point where there's way more supply for online products, but not as many people doing it because they're distracted with AI, they're distracted with crypto, and it's a great opportunity to get in. Avocado the Frog, I am the front man woman of a band, and I can kind of understand how to apply those examples. Okay, well, a band is another great example. I think like a band, if you guys have a band, you obviously want some band merch, right? You want to put your brand on the shirt. You want to sell it to the people who come to your show, right? So you have to build an online store, e-commerce store, print on demand, take your shirts, print your band, print some graphics on it. And not only do you have a website for it where people that go to your show could buy it after the show, you could also print some of them off and have them on hand. When people get to the show, they buy it right there. And then that's just more income for you and your band. So is that something you guys do? Is that something you guys already have in place, or something you want to get started? That's a great one. I mean, every concert I ever been to, they had merch for the artist. I'm glad to see the Twitch followers getting involved here, though. YouTube's been messing with me lately, so I'm glad the Twitch viewers are stepping up. Avocado. All right. Well, I think that's we're looking to start selling merch and signatures, but don't know where to start. Well, listen. Take a look at the Taylor's Code community. Go to the link in my description on Twitch, on YouTube, and just check out the profile. Join up. You can see all the free resources that I have available already on my YouTube and in the Taylor's Code. So check that out. If it's something you're interested in, want to work with me, you want to get something started, definitely message me and let me know, because we have tons of different things we could do from all different standpoints. If you want to be more hands-on, there's those options. And if you want to do it a different way, drop shipping, print on demand, where people would just buy it. But also if you want to at the show, it's a little different process. So appreciate the follow. So with that, everybody being a little distracted of what is going on from other things in the world, people are doing different things. I think there's a great opportunity for people to get involved in e-commerce. And it doesn't even have to be like some of the things you see online. Like a lot of people just want to do strictly drop shipping, which I think drop shipping is great, and I utilize it, and I've learned the skill, and I understand it. But there's a lot of other things that have a more scalable approach. And I've touched on this with the digital products. I think the digital products have a great scalability because you create the product one time and then you could sell it infinitely. Depending on your marketing strategies, depending on the content you create for that digital product, it's unlimited in the amount of sales you could get based off of the product that you build one time and you continuously work on and continuously get better. So that is the beauty of digital products and products that you could build one time and sell infinitely. Drop shipping is great, but there is a more hands-on approach from things like returns and maybe things breaking, shipping goes wrong, ships to the wrong house, and you got to get in contact with the buyer, get in contact with the supplier. So there's just a lot more work being the middleman in a drop shipping situation. A digital product, you are the supplier in a sense. You create the product and you want to get that to people, or you want to get people in, whatever it might be. So there's different ways of going about it, different ways to think about it, and that's just what I really wanted to talk about today, was opening up your mind that the e-commerce world is not just drop shipping. It's not just getting a product from China. Maybe you've seen like a mouse on the internet, right? It's just like people make mouse ads and then people go onto their link and they buy it, or they go on Amazon and they buy it. That's not all e-commerce is. E-commerce is anything that you're buying or selling on the internet. It's not just the traditional get a product from a supplier for cheap, sell it to a customer, being a middleman. It's really not that at all. There's so many different options. I mean, it is not that it's not that at all, but there's just so many different options that you could twist off this. All right. Thank you, Avocado. Appreciate it. So that's just what I want to open up everybody's ears, open up the mind, start thinking about, is that there's so many different options, and to not limit yourself to just that drop shipping mentality. You know, if you already connect with people online, maybe you even have a Facebook group and you want to start getting Facebook people, drive them to another page where you want them to buy something. Maybe it's a digital product. Maybe you build custom calendars for people. You do graphic design. You want to design different things for people. It's a PDF or a PDF download or a JPEG download, whatever it is. Maybe you even make sounds. Maybe you make music, or you make soundtracks to like background noise and stuff like that. You could sell all this stuff, and it's all about what niche you want to fall into. So that's why, again, just going back to it, product research doesn't have to be just physical products. Think about what the product can do for people. If it can help them, they'll buy it. If it makes them happy, they'll buy it. If it makes them angry because they can't figure it out, maybe they'll buy it. Who knows? So some of the other things that go along with e-commerce, and it's not just tools, it's not just buying things, buying a product, selling it for more. It really comes down to mentality, because a lot of the things that I've seen in e-commerce is that it's difficult. It's not easy to just go on, create a landing page half-assedly, and then drive traffic to it, and then people are immediately going to buy. It's a very consistent game you have to play, and it's a long-term gain. You can make a store in a couple of days with the skills and the knowledge that I could give you out inside the Taylor's Code, some of the tools and apps you could use. You could get a web page up with your products in 24 hours if you really sit down and hustle. If you have an idea ready to go, you could do it in 24 hours. The thing is, it's a long game in terms of building a community. If you're not going to go the paid ads route or test your product, it's a long game in organic community building. Maybe you already have an organic community that you could utilize. That's great. That'll make it definitely easier on you. So there's some strategies that I like to use to stay engaged It's definitely starting with small little goals, small little snippets that you could get the ball rolling on. It's not setting I want to do $10,000 in sales this month. Okay, that is a good goal, but you have to break that goal down further. You have to say, okay, how do I get my first sale? Okay, once I get my first sale, how do I increase my marketing budget? How is my marketing content doing? Is it getting a good cost per click? Is it above $1? Is it below $1? So you have to break it down, that big goal of, $10,000 in sales in e-commerce, which is very easy to do if you have a good product and you have good strategies and you know how to do this stuff. It's fairly simple. It just comes down to executing the plan that you have in place and breaking it down to the smaller goals, because a lot of what people do, and I think this may be why a lot of the people are out of the e-commerce realm right now, is because they see the people that still are online. They're like, did $10 million in sales this month. The store's doing great. Okay, well, what that guy who's doing the $10 million this month in sales isn't showing you is 3 years ago when he started this store, he was in the same position you were. There was $0 in the marketing budget. There was 2 sales coming in a month that were barely paying for it, right? But I'm sure the more he figured it out, the more he tested things, or she tested things, it became clear that, okay, well, once we have the product up on the page ready to go, we should test it. Like, is this product sellable? Like, are people actually going to buy it? So with that, you could put it up online and you could drive clicks right to the store and see right then and there. And that's where I think Facebook ads and ads are best served, is in the beginning. Test it. Put $50 into a marketing budget on the very first day it's live. Drive all the traffic. Maybe you get 3,000 views with that $50. Maybe you get, out of that, you get 300 clicks. And out of that 300 clicks, you get 15 sales. 15 sales at $50. Okay, maybe you made $750 off of that initial. That would be a great start to say, okay, that initial $50 of ads turned into $750 in sales. We know this thing works. Let's double down on it. Let's go harder. Let's draw out our plan for the next 30 days. Great. If you do the same thing and you get, what did I say, 3,000 views, you only get 100 clicks, and then you get 1 purchase, it's like, okay, maybe this isn't going to work, because that's a pretty big budget and it didn't work out for us. So there's different ways to test in the beginning to, one, give yourself the knowledge and the data points to know that this thing is going to work in the future, or also if you're just wasting your time, because I do believe there becomes a certain point where you could work really hard on things. You could be really, you could really put your head down. You could work, and people do outwork each other, or people can outwork one another. And I think if you're a hard worker, you're going to succeed more. But if you're working too hard on the wrong things that aren't going to make you money, and if you're just doing this stuff and it's not going to do it, well, then you're working hard in the wrong direction. You want to work hard in the direction that is going to bring that money in. And maybe that is, moving on from that product because it didn't go. Sometimes you have to make those decisions where, okay, this didn't work. Let's cut it and let's go on to a new product, as opposed to doubling down on it and working another 3 to 5 days on that product that's not going to work. And then you have to give up on it in 2 weeks because you're just losing money and it doesn't work. So sometimes the right decision is to cut it to move on to something new. But it has to be based on data, and it has to be based on the points and the strategy you want to do. All right. Any questions? Yeah, I think that's a big thing. A lot of people will work hard on the wrong thing. They'll just, they could be, oh, I was up so late last night working hard, doing this. I did that. Okay, but did it get you to where you want to be? Like, when you look at it, did that 6 hours you put in and stayed up late and you didn't get good sleep and you missed the gym in the morning, because was all that work really worth it, or were you just working just to work? And I definitely don't want to work just to work. I want to work because I have to get something done. It has to be strategized. It has to have a goal. And that's why I think that lofty goal that you make it has to be broken down into smaller points. And then once you start knocking off those smaller points, it starts getting you closer to that bigger goal. And that's the whole point of this. All right, everyone. Any questions here? Any current events that people are talking about? I know we're streaming live on 4 different platforms today. I know we're back on TikTok. Streamlabs gave me that option today to go back live on TikTok. So waiting for the Facebook Live to be cleared. I need 60 days. Already have the follower count, which is great. Got the follower count in like two days. But they have to make sure your profile is real and you're not just spamming to go live. So I have to wait 60 days for Facebook. But I'm excited about that. Because the Facebook page has been doing very well. I'm very happy with what has been going on there from an analytics standpoint, seeing how many people are viewing it, how many people are clicking the links I'm posting and watching the content. It's really good. So all these videos that you guys are watching here will also be on Facebook at some point, from a live perspective and from a video perspective. All the videos that are going up on YouTube are also going up on Facebook now. So Facebook's really higher on my charts. All right, so the last point I want to make on the landscape of e-commerce, and it goes hand in hand with what I was just talking about from a product research perspective and from testing and working in the wrong direction, working in the right direction. This goes for anything, not just e-commerce, but I'll relate it to e-commerce because I see a lot of the problems is people saying they want to get started. And they want to do it, or this could be for anything though. Like maybe you want to do something, but it's a lofty goal. It's hard to do things. It's hard to be successful. It's not easy. The thing is though, you just have to get started. You have to put that first foot forward. And the first foot forward can be writing the plan. Write the plan down. What is the major goal? Break the major goal up into 3 smaller goals for the week, 2 days. And then once you get going and you start doing these goals, that's the first step. The hardest part about doing any of this is taking the initiative. Taking the initiative is the most important part because if you don't take the initiative, it's just going to be an idea in your head. And the ideas in our head are great. Everybody has great ideas in their head, but not everybody can act on them and not everybody can implement them. And that's where the real winners are. And I believe that was said on the Properly Paid channel yesterday. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that was said. That might be what instilled it in my head today to talk about it. But it's super important because the thoughts in your head could be great. Like I said, you could have all these great ideas, but if you don't write them down and you don't start to come up with a strategy or a plan to implement them, it's all for nothing. You're wasting the good ideas in your head, and that's not what you want. And I think for people that are already working a job, they're busy, right? I'm busy. I'm definitely busy. So strategizing and writing out your plan to what you want to do is so critical. Don't waste any time because the time you waste and the ideas you waste, it's just gone. Like you can't get that back, especially the time, especially the ideas, because they'll float away if you don't write them down. So that is the major advice, especially when getting started in e-commerce, because e-commerce moves so quick. If you have an idea for a landing page, you have an idea for a product, research it. Get the landing page built, get the website built, get the product in there, and build ads and start driving traffic to it as soon as possible, because the sooner you could do that, the sooner you'll validate the idea that, okay, yeah, I was correct, this will work. The sooner you will know, okay, this idea sucks, it's not going to work. I need to move on, try something new. But it's so easy to keep the ball rolling once it's rolling. The hardest part is taking that initiative and kicking the ball and getting it going. But once you get going and you realize that, okay, it's not that bad. Like building the web page only took me 2 days. Getting the supplier to link it to my product to my store only took me 4 hours. And now you start getting better at this stuff where you can start building it quicker and you get more products in and you get better at advertising, you get better at marketing. You understand how the Google Ads software works. You understand how the Facebook Ads software works. And that's just how the ball keeps rolling. All right? So it's super important. Take the initiative. Like Properly Paid said, everyone can have a great idea. Few can make it a reality. That's true. That's why you see the great the great people of our time, what they've done. Let's look at Jeff Bezos, right? His idea he started off with was an online bookstore. And look at what it turned into. It's way more than just an online bookstore now, right? They have Amazon AWS. It's like a whole different, I'm not a computer IT person, but a whole Amazon software and database and just application building and cloud servers and trucking to get packages from A to B and warehousing and technology, robotics to take products off the shelf. Right? You see how his idea has formed just from taking that initiative of creating an online bookstore? It's crazy. Look at Elon Musk, SpaceX. There was multiple times throughout the past 15 years where that company could have easily gone under, and probably did, but Elon saved it with his own cash, of rockets going up into space and blowing up on the way. And they're like, oh, wow, okay, that didn't work, and we're out of money. Now what do we do? It takes a special person to keep that initiative and keep that drive when things aren't going your way. So just taking the initiative, and if Elon really, like, look at where SpaceX is now, launching satellites every single day, planning a trip to Mars, and it's like all this, it doesn't happen if he doesn't take that initial step and be, okay, let's build a rocket, that could get to space, maybe. And it blew up multiple times. Now you see the reusable rockets, they come down, the boosters come down, they land, they can reuse them, fill them up, go back up. So what I'm saying is, it's just, you have to take that initial step. It doesn't get to the final goal. Like I said before, the end picture for them isn't even in sight yet, what they want to do with SpaceX and all that, right? That the end goal is not even close, but they have to take all these major milestones and they have to stack them up until they get there. And that's the same with anything you do, same way any business you're going to build. All right. Any other questions? Any other viewers here from Twitch, YouTube? I know we got Properly Paid in the chat. We got some viewers on X. I'm checking it out. I can't believe you caught the Air Force shirt that quick. Properly Paid. All right, well, that's really all I had on my agenda for today. Make sure to like, subscribe. Go to the link in the description. Like I said in the beginning of the video, this is the final 2 weeks. Well, actually, it's less than 2 weeks now. February is a short month. The final 12 days to get into the Taylor's Code at the current price before it jumps up to $50 a month, and before it goes on to Discord officially, and it'll be off of the school community. So I'm working on today getting all the resources that I have on school, making sure to get that into the Taylor's Code on Discord. OMG Janae also subscribed. Let's go. The live subs are rolling in today. Cool tongue, by the way. How'd you see my tongue? What? I didn't show my tongue. I don't know what you're talking about. Was any other ideas that anybody thinks of in the e-commerce realm this week? Make sure to message me, comment on Twitch, comment on YouTube, comment on wherever you're watching this. If you're watching this live on X, message me there as well. All right. But other than that, guys, make sure to tune in Wednesday to the Gentleman's Code, episode 28, I believe. We're coming up super fast on episode 30 there. So also, like I said before, too, I'm going to start, maybe I'll start recording some of the Sunday conversation, or the coffee chats episodes again, because I like doing those, because it was super short. I was referring to your actual tongue, but still, I apologize. How did you see my tongue? What are you talking about? Or would you say I wasn't referring to your actual tongue? All right, with that, I'm gonna call the stream for today. All right, but appreciate you guys being here. Check in Wednesday, and I'll be live next Sunday as well. Message me with any questions before that. All right, I'll see you guys soon.